Will we get cancelled for this? But according to our criteria, supports like Bronya and Sparkle are unfortunately not very versatile.
Welcome back, guys, to the second episode of the Chicken Rice Podcast.
Wasn't it weekly chicken rice?
Yeah, we said it will be weekly chicken rice, but obviously we are procrastinators, and so it is not weekly.
I think it's still good to have it on the name. But anyways, let's move on to our main topic today, which we really would like to talk about. So for some context, I play 3 different accounts. Not that I play them consistently, but I play it to help my friends clear their MOC or Pure Fiction PF. From this, I have come to see which characters are really, really essential for your team.
So to rephrase how we have decided, there are some must pull characters. So of course that some of you will say, oh, but no, there are no must pull characters. You know, you can clear the game with 4 stars. Yes, we know that. But our point is just, we feel that there are certain characters that are just so good. You know, they have so much value that if you care about meta relevance, then this is a character that you should definitely get for your account.
Definitely. Personally, I believe that there are characters that are considered must pulls by nature of a few criteria. So it's completeness, versatility, and ease of building. So these 3 are our criteria for must pull characters.
Yeah, so right now, we just felt that we want to be fair. You know, we do not just say, oh, this character is a must pull just because we feel that, oh, they are must pull. So we set certain criteria as mentioned. So with regards to the first criteria on completeness, how do we define whether a character is complete? So we define it as like if the character's kit is complete at E0, at Eidolon 0, and whether their Eidolons or light cones address significant pain points in their base kit. So if they do not need their Eidolons or if they do not need their light cones, then their character can be considered complete at E0.
Now, who are these examples, right? First, for a character that is technically complete even without their light cone, the Ice Queen, Jingliu. Still one of my favorite characters. I wrote her during her initial banner and I don't regret rolling for her. She's been a mainstay in all my teams. To be fair, I do have her LC, but it only boosts her damage. It doesn't change her gameplay at all. You're still doing the same thing.
So personally, I also have Jingliu, and I also feel that, yes, I also have her signature light cone, but I also agree that she really doesn't need her light cone to function. Like, due to the nature of Jingliu's kit, she already comes with a free 50% crit rate, and she also has an insane attack boost. So you kind of just need to build like crit damage, and you don't need you don't need the Eidolon or the light cone to like hit certain breakpoints.
Yeah, and I have personal experience with not having the light cone also, because the second account I'm playing has Jingliu without her light cone, which, yeah, the numbers are smaller, but you know, numbers are just numbers, right? Sometimes.
Like, it works. You don't have a certain pain point, like, oh my god, like Jingliu is unplayable without the light cone, you know?
I think saying unplayable is a bit of a exaggeration, but an example of a character that can be considered not complete without a light cone is actually Imperator Lune, or our dear little dragon boy BB.
Why do you mention he's not complete at E0? Does it mean that you can't use him at E0? No, that's not what I mean. But the truth is that if you get his light cone, the experience that you have for playing Imperator Lune is very different. Why? Assuming you don't get hit by any characters, the light cone will give you enough energy recharge to get back his ultimate after 3 enhanced basic attacks. And this is not possible without the energy recharge from his light cone.
Exactly, so that's our criteria for completeness. Our second criteria is versatility. So what we mean by that is how many teams can this character be used in? What are their requirements? Like, who are their best teammates and stuff like that? So very clearly, a yes would be Asta.
Okay, so as for why Asta is what we consider a versatile support, because yes, we know she's not the best support in all situations, but you cannot deny that her team-wide attack buff can be used in many teams, and also most teams benefit from just moving faster. So the speed buff that Asta brings to the whole team is also very useful. That is why we consider her a very versatile support.
The nature of her buffs is very general. So maybe she doesn't excel in a particular field, but it's because it's general, you can really slot her in any team comp you want. Your usual crit comps with Jingliu, she works. You want to put it in a Jingyuan team to help him hit certain speed breakpoints, she works. You want to run her in a dot team, she also works. So yeah, Asta definitely one of the most versatile supports. On the other hand, will we get cancelled for this? But according to our criteria, supports like Bronya and Sparkle are unfortunately not very versatile because you're not using the full value of their kit in certain team comps. For example, if you try to run Bronya in a dot team comp, yeah, her damage buff works, but you're missing out on action advance also benefits the team, but you're not making full use of the crit part of her kit.
Yes, so to us, that is why we consider Bronya not as versatile. But I mean, there are also some teams that make it very difficult to run Bronya. For example, if you are running a E0 Imbibitor Lune team, you'll find it very difficult to use Bronya because Bronya, by nature of her kit, she uses up a lot of skill points as a support.
Oh my god, when I tried to run Imbibitor Lune with Bronya for one of the accounts, the skill point management was
it's very difficult, right?
It's really a to manage the SP economy, honestly.
So I mean, that's why we don't consider versatile. But I mean, of course, if you have a lack of supports, you want to run a Bronya, no one's stopping you. We just don't consider her as versatile under our criteria. So that's for versatility.
Okay, and our last criteria is ease of building. We're not talking about the nightmare, our love-hate relationship with subsets. We are more talking about character-specific breakpoints. Examples of this would be Black Swan and her 120% effect hit rate, EHR requirement. Another example would be Jing Yuan and his speed breakpoint. What was it again?
I'm not a Jing Yuan main, so I cannot say for sure, but from what I say, it's around 142, 143. That's the speed breakpoint that Jing Yuan needs such that he can act before Lightning Lord acts so that he can guarantee a 10-stack Lightning Lord.
So these are characters in our own criteria that have breakpoints that are rather hard to hit if you don't have specific equipment.
Just one thing that I also want to bring up is that we also are not talking about relics breakpoint requirements such as that of the 70% crit rate of Rotated Arena or the 50% crit rate of Inert Cell Soto. We are looking at only specifically breakpoints that are due to the nature of the character's kit. For example, Black Swan's 120% effect hit rate requirement.
So by that criteria, characters that are considered easy to build, Kafka. We're not talking about, the fact that Kafka needs a lot of speed or how hard it is to get the substats. We're simply talking about what you actually need to hit to reach certain levels of performance.
Okay, so how I look at it is that, of course, there are certain breakpoints that everyone wants to hit. Like people always say, oh, I want my character to hit 134 speed so that they can act 2 times in the first cycle. Yes, those are valid breakpoints, but I won't say those are character specific. So maybe it will be easier for everyone if you mention what character is not easy to build. For example, Black Swan. If you read her kit, it's very clear that you want 120% effect hit rate to hit the maximum damage bonus of a trade.
Yes, and actually it's not that easy to hit it if you don't have specific light cones. Yes, you can run an effect hit rate chest, but that is not enough to hit your requirements. What you really need is either Eyes of Prey, a 4-star light cone, or her signature light cone.
And to be specific, you will want S5 of the Eyes of the Prey because that it gives 40% effect hit rate, which is the same as the signature light cone.
Without these two, you are not going to hit that breakpoint unless you're really lucky with your substats. Which that's
if you're really lucky, sure, but we are thinking more of a very general context. Like for most people, how difficult will it be to hit the 120% requirement? And specifically for Black Swan, there actually is a higher effect hit rate requirement because if you want to guarantee her stacking of her Arcana debuffs, which has a very low base chance, you actually need close to 100, around 150% hit rate to even guarantee it. Just that if you want to maximize the damage bonus, 120% is enough. Now that we explained the no example, then what about the yes example? Okay, so just now you mentioned Kafka is an example that is easy to build. Why? Of course, we know that we want her as high attack as possible, as fast as possible. We want her speed set to be as high as possible, but she doesn't innately have any breakpoint. So when you want to build her, you just think, okay, I just build as much attack and speed as I can put on her. Which is the same for some of other characters. Maybe you just know that you just want to have as much attack and crit damage and a good crit ratio as much as possible. To me, that is considered easy to build already.
So that's our 3 criteria for what we consider as must pull. And you might be spoiled by the title of this video already.
So what is one character that hits our 3 criteria of completeness, versatility, and ease of building? And that is Ruan Mei.
Yes, the actual queen of supports. I will live and die on this hill. Ruan Mei is the best character you can pull for in your account in terms of completeness, versatility, ease of building, and for my own personal little trait that I like to add, account longevity. What I mean by this, so Ruan Mei not only fits in every single comp, almost every single comp as to date, she's also a staple in the upcoming break team comps. This kind of versatility is pretty insane. This is very different compared to supports like the Harmony Trailblazer, which specifically only work for break teams. Ruan Mei's kit is just so crazy. She does everything and she works on every kind of damage dealer.
For people who are not so aware, so Ruan Mei provides a team-wide damage bonus, team-wide speed buff, and also a rest penetration for her on her ultimate. So these are all buffs that almost any team can use, if not every team. Things like, are you a DOT team or you're a crit focused team, or in the future, break teams or the super break teams, you all can use Ruan Mei in your team.
In fact, the resistance penetration is such a valuable buff. I think she's the only one that has it. I mean, technically Archeron has it in her own kit, but I mean, she's a damage dealer, a very selfish damage dealer, so she doesn't really count. Because of that, the nature of her buffs, it's a bit like Asta in that it's very general. Anyone can make use of it. But what's scarier is that it's just much, much more potent than Asta's.
And thus, it makes her much stronger as a support. And of course, then some of y'all might say, oh yeah, maybe her kit is complete. Maybe she's very versatile. Yes, we all know, because it's like almost every single content creator always likes to recommend Ruan Mei as the support for any DPS. But they might ask, but doesn't Ruan Mei have a breakpoint requirement technically? If you want to maximize her damage boost, then you need 180% break effect. And yes, she does have a breakpoint, but as compared to certain characters like Black Swan, it's much easier to hit the 180% break effect requirement that you want on Ruan Mei. And even then, even if you don't hit the 180% break effect requirement, she still provides a lot of support to your team regardless. So in my opinion, she's still considered quite easy to build.
So if you're going to compare with Black Swan, since we've been using her as a Liza example, Black Swan's only options for Light Cone in terms of trying to hit the effect hit rate is Eyes of Prey and her signature. In the case of Ruan Mei, she has so many different ways to kind of fit her to get your break effect requirement. If you're running Machine Cogs, just run the break effect rope. If you're running Memories of the Past, then you run a ER rope and you will still be able to hit the required break effect. If you're running her signature LC, I mean, yeah, go ahead, right? And for me personally, what I really like about her is the fact that her 4-star option gives her a new rotation that is different, a unique rotation that has an added bonus compared to her signature.
Specifically, the situation is that if you run either the Sprightly Bombeck set or the Penacony set, which gives you more energy recharge. And if you run Memories of the Past S5, you can get a guaranteed 3-turn rotation on Ruan Mei, which is not possible if you run like her signature Light Cone. So these are the reasons why I feel like, oh, Ruan Mei is just a must pull.
If you missed her, save up for her. She's likely going to be relevant for a very, very long time. With how Ruan Mei is building up, I'm also really looking forward to break teams. And maybe that will be our next topic.
Yeah, so maybe next time, when certain new characters are out, cough, mecha, cough.
Executing Scorched Earth operations.
So when that character comes up, maybe we will have a new topic to talk about how break is now rising in the meta. But that'll be for a discussion for another day. And that is the end of our weekly chicken rice podcast. That is not weekly anymore, but yes.